And it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. We'll get started really soon. But before we do, a little bit of a housekeeping. I always like to see where people are viewing from in this global event. So on the right-hand side, you have a chat. I would like to ask all of you to tell us where are you coming from, maybe a link to your startup also in that chat so we can see who you are representing, what exciting idea you're working on. This chat box will be your friend for the next 2 hours, so feel free to use it for all the questions you might have throughout the session, which our great presenter, Anwobo, will answer in designated breaks. And about our session, and this is in the end what you are here for, we're thrilled to invite you to our latest startup school on how to advertise on YouTube. We have only one more session in 2020 coming up next day, tomorrow, on Google Display Network, but we will continue Startup School in 2021. In regards to this session, just for your information, we are leaving this link open for 24 hours, so you can view it later, pause, take some notes. We won't be sharing the slides, however. Now onto the YouTube, a great place we all love, and our wonderful host, Anwobo. He has more than 7 years of experience in the industry. He worked on search, display, YouTube strategies and implementation for companies like Nintendo, Nationwide, Sports Direct, or EDF Energy. A fun fact about Anwobo, this is a person that is always prepared for every single occasion. He has a Spotify playlist. So if you have any questions about recommendation of music, please also ask this in the chat box. Without further ado, over to you, Anwobo. Please welcome our great audience.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Timon, and welcome everybody to our Startup School session today. And today's session is all going to be on how to advertise on YouTube. So I can see we've got people here from sunny Spain, 20 degrees and sunny. Unfortunately, I'm like Asia, based in East London today, where I think we're not doing too bad. It's 11 degrees, so it's a bit warmer than it has been, but it is miserable, rainy and wet. So I am hoping this is going to provide my joy, because the weather has not done that for me so far today. So thank you all for joining, and I hope we have a fun couple of hours learning here about YouTube. So today's session is going to be about advertising on a platform that I'm sure we all know and we all love. I'm sure every single one of you has got experience utilizing the YouTube platform as a user, as somebody who's finding their entertainment, their information, news, whatever it is you use YouTube for. But today we're going to be looking at how we can advertise through the platform. So today what we are going to cover are 3 main topics. We're going to be looking at how to utilize YouTube as a marketing platform. So how we can differentiate that from utilizing it as a entertainment or a news or a gaming platform. And we're going to really look at some of the opportunities that lie within this platform as well. As you can imagine, YouTube is absolutely huge, and we're going to really start looking into and starting to understand how big the platform really is and how big the opportunities are for you and your businesses to promote yourselves on this platform. We're then also going to be taking a look at some of the ad formats and some of the targeting features that are available on the platform, because it is so huge and it can actually be overwhelmingly huge. And there are so many different settings, so many different options, and so many different things that we can do, ways we can present our ads to our users, and ways we can target these users. And we just need to kind of demystify this a little bit so we can start to figure out and understand what are the different ad formats and which ones may be relevant to your businesses and the way in which you'd like to get your message across. And also, how can you get your ads in front of the right people and in the right places? So we're going to look at those opportunities there as well with the targeting. And then finally, the last thing we're going to do today is go through the process of setting up your first campaign. So maybe you've never ever even been into Google Ads before. Maybe you've been into Google Ads and never done a YouTube campaign before. And maybe you have done a few YouTube campaigns, but you just want to check that you're doing these in the right way. We're going to be going through the process directly within Google Ads to really demonstrate and show you guys precisely how you should be setting up your campaigns and how we can go through the process that kind of wraps up everything else that we're going to talk about today. As Timon mentioned, throughout this whole session, the chat will be open, so please feel free whenever you like to ask questions within the comment section there. I will be seeing these, and when the time is right, I will be taking time to make sure I can answer any questions that you guys have as we go through the session. I'll also leave a little bit of time at the end of the session to allow you guys to ask any further questions that you may have. But please, as Timon mentioned, that chat box is your friend. And for the next 2 hours, so am I. So without any further ado, let's get started and let's start looking at YouTube as a marketing platform. Now, when I do this session, I don't like jumping straight into YouTube and talking about where it is today. I think it's always useful to do a little bit of history and to go back to understand where YouTube came from and how it became the platform that it was today. So what we're going to do is start off with a bit of a YouTube timeline, and we're going to start back and see how YouTube got to be the platform that it is today, the platform that we all know and love. Let's have a look at the timeline to see when it started and how we got here. So the very first place we have to start is in the year 2005, when YouTube was launched. So YouTube was launched in 2005 by 3 individuals who all used to actually work at PayPal. They came together and concepted the idea of YouTube and then created and launched this platform. I mean, there is a storyline that actually says that they got the idea because it was after the Super Bowl halftime performance that involved Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. It may be something that some of you guys remember. And there was an incident within that performance that they wanted to watch back. But when they went to the internet to look for this moment, they couldn't find any platform that was readily available to show them this content. So therefore, they decided to create it themselves. And that was the idea behind YouTube. And that is where this video sharing and streaming platform came from. And it was created in the year 2005. Now, just in the next year after they created and launched this platform, it actually got quite big. It was getting very, very popular, and it caught the attention of a company that we all know and love, Google. And Google actually purchased YouTube at the time for $1.65 billion. That's $1.65 billion Google made the purchase for. At the time, it was one of Google's biggest ever purchases. And they actually decided, they announced that they believed that this was really the future of the internet and believed that this was the direction that things were going in. So that's in 2006, 14 years ago. And I think we can't really say that they were wrong. Now, one other thing about these moments on the timeline, I think it always really astonishes me that it's somewhat recent history. It's within the last 15 years that all of this occurred. And to think of how far we've come in that time frame, it really, really does blow my mind, because I think it almost feels like YouTube has been here forever. But in fact, it's only been something that has been part of our lives for the last 15 years. And I think it's always really interesting to remember how recent it is as a platform. So moving on to 2007, once Google had their hands on this, they decided to start introducing advertising to the content on YouTube. And of course, this is one of the reasons that we're all here today to talk about this session, because it's that advertising that we're all interested in learning about. Now, in terms of what happened with YouTube when this was introduced, at the very beginning, it was met with a bit of backlash, because as you can imagine, for 2 years, this has been a very popular and also very much a free platform that everybody could create their account, they could upload their videos, they could share them and watch them without the disturbance of advertising. But of course, what advertising did allow for was content creators to start making money through the platform. So of course, because there was now advertising and advertisers were paying to put their ads in front of users, the users who owned the videos and had created their YouTube channels were also being paid as revenue, as Google chose to share the revenue between themselves and also the content creators. What this also meant for the platform is that because content creators were getting paid, they could actually start now dedicating more time to the platform. They could actually start investing in more expensive equipment, higher quality editing software, and creating the lovely high quality videos that we see on the platform today. Of course, if they were not getting any form of payment for this, it's quite unlikely that the quality that we see on the platform would have been met if people were just doing it for free. So therefore, YouTube introduced advertising to its content. It was great for us as advertisers and business owners because we can start to reach our consumers, but it was also great for the content on YouTube. And we saw the quality of it start to increase from 2007. And we see the high quality that we continue to see up until today. Now, a few years after this, in the year 2013, we actually saw the number of unique monthly visitors to YouTube reach 1 billion. So that means every single month, 1 billion new people or kind of unique users had gone to the YouTube website. And that was the kind of level that was set at the year 2013, which is really incredible growth based on any website. And it really shows how significant this growth was for YouTube. In fact, to this day, when you think about the most visited sites in kind of like the rankings globally, I'm sure it's no surprise to know that the #1 most visited site in the world is, of course, Google. But #2, it's YouTube. And it's such a huge site and it does see such a large number of traffic. And again, it just took those 8 years there to get to that 1 billion monthly unique user number. A couple of years later, a platform called YouTube Red, it's now known as YouTube Premium, was launched. And essentially what this gave was access to some exclusive content. It allowed you to watch your content without advertising. And now these days, it's known as YouTube Premium. And with YouTube Premium, we can even download videos for offline viewing. If you have a mobile app or a tablet app, you can close YouTube and let the sound play in the background. Great for listening to music and whilst you do other things. And also, you get access to YouTube Music Premium as well as part of that subscription. So this was just another kind of development in the timeline of YouTube when they've now had a subscription service that was added to it. And by subscribing, you get some really strong benefits of utilizing the YouTube platform there. And then 2 years later, we had a video uploaded, which was called Despacito, which I'm sure a lot of you may be familiar with. And this, for some time, actually was the most popular YouTube video. I think it now has over 7 billion streams on YouTube. And actually, at the time of writing, this was the most popular video on the whole of YouTube. I actually had a little look yesterday in terms of video popularity. And actually, there is one video that has now exceeded Despacito in terms of its video views. And I wonder if any of you can guess what it is. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it in your minds, and then I'll let you know. The video that is actually now the most viewed video on YouTube is the baby shark dance. So I'm not going to try and sing it or imitate it for you. But if you're unaware, when we finish with this session, you can open a new tab, or you can go onto you can continue on YouTube and type in the baby shark dance and let play. If there are any of you with any young children, I'm sure you may be familiar with it. And if you're not, your kids will love it. I also promise it may drive you crazy if you continue listening to it. But the #1 video with the highest number of views, like I said, again, exceeding 7 billion views, is the baby shark dance. So that's a few stats there about YouTube and looking at a timeline there. A couple of people in the comments really telling me that they are familiar with this and it does get stuck in your head forever. That's absolutely true. Right. let's have a look then. That's the timeline of YouTube, and that's looking at where we came from. Let's have a look here at YouTube today. And where are we today? It's 2020. What does this platform look like? So YouTube today actually now has 2 billion logged in monthly users. So that's a really, really large number of users who are actually logged in. It's not only people that are just visiting, but there's 2 billion people who are logged in and return to YouTube at least once a month there. So it's a huge number of engaged, signed in, and active users that they have on this platform. Now, of course, it is still a user-generated platform, and we upload our content as users and as channel owners. You upload your content, and it's still the same format as when it began back in 2005. And in terms of content being uploaded, this still happens, but at an unprecedented and sometimes almost an unimaginable rate. In fact, users upload 500 hours of video to YouTube every single minute, which is a stat that I can't really comprehend in my mind sometimes. You're saying every single minute there's 500 hours worth of content that gets uploaded to the platform. And that's really astonishing. The amount of content that's created, uploaded, shared, viewed, it really starts to get really, really kind of mind-boggling when you start thinking about it in those sorts of numbers. But it's just to show that it is really active and it has a high level of engagement from a lot of users who are creating that content and uploading it to their channels. But in terms of visitors viewing, actually there is a high amount of attention that is paid to the content that's on there. And actually out of those 2 billion logged in monthly users, every single visitor to YouTube spends an average of 14 minutes and 6 seconds per day on YouTube. That's quite a lot of time. That's a lot of time that these users spend on the platform, viewing videos, consuming the content for entertainment, for news, for education, whatever it may be. An average of 40 minutes and 6 seconds per day. And of course, that's an average, meaning that, of course, there are some people that might far exceed that average. And we get a lot of really highly engaged users that utilize the platform. And you might want to think about, how does that fit in with your own usage? How much time do you spend on YouTube a day? Do you go on it every day? And I know myself, I probably do go on it every day to watch a video here and a video there. I'm a very big fan of football, so I know usually watching some sort of football highlights. I like some educational channels, and I learn all sorts of stuff by watching videos. But I think 14 minutes probably sounds like a long time, but actually I do go on it quite often, and I do play things across multiple different devices. I also love YouTube for music as well. So you can always get really good access to music. Artists are always uploading their music videos and everything else. So there's a lot of content on there. And I think I probably spend, maybe 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more on YouTube every day. Kind of split out across the day. I probably will watch something. Now, of course, YouTube is not just available on your desktop devices, but is available on so just seeing Sadia in the comments here talking about how her children only watch YouTube, and she tends to use YouTube more for media than traditional channels. And also that is great for handy DIY videos. And that I definitely will agree with you. If there's anything around the house that I need doing, very easy to pick up a YouTube video, watch a few people doing it a few times, and then construct it. In fact, a friend of mine recently moved home, and I had to send him a video for how to construct a TV stand. And he was able to follow that step by step to construct the TV stand, because he couldn't even follow the instructions on paper. So of course, that visual recognition with the video is very helpful for DIY and those sorts of activities there. Now, what I was mentioning was that you can actually access YouTube across a multitude of devices. So it's not just your computer, your desktop, your laptop. Of course, we can view it on a mobile device, and it is great on the mobile these days, especially if you've got the YouTube app, which I'm sure a lot of you do have as well. It works very, very well, and also on the tablet device as well. But of course, a lot of you might also have smart TVs or a Chromecast in your TV, which means it's also available on a TV screen as well. So as a user, we can watch YouTube in so many different places, but actually the device that is the most used for YouTube viewing is actually the mobile device. And in fact, so much so that over 70% of YouTube views happen on the mobile device. So it's very, very highly engaged with users who are using their mobile devices. And as I mentioned, whether you're doing it on the mobile web or whether you're utilizing the YouTube app on your iOS or your Android or whatever other device, it just works so well. And it's very easy to kind of use. The days of, low 2G speeds and everything are long gone. Everyone's probably got really, good data on their mobile plans. And also we have smartphones that can all access Wi-Fi. So therefore, a lot of the time we spend on YouTube will be done on mobile devices, which means as an advertiser, you're always able to reach your users on the go wherever they are utilizing those devices as well. And then another thing here is about TV, because like I said, it is possible for us to watch YouTube on a TV device if you have a Chromecast, if you have a smart TV. Often I will do this at home when I'm watching something on YouTube on my phone. If I'm sat on the sofa, I can press a button that then casts it to my TV screen, and I can enjoy it in a much bigger screen and a much better quality as well. But actually, when we think of a key demographic, and one of our key demographics, I think for a lot of us might be the 18 to 34-year-old category. Of course, it may be different depending what your startup is selling or what your service is. But actually, YouTube for 18 to 34-year-olds is actually the second most preferred platform for watching video on TV screens, which I think is incredible. You think of all the different platforms there are out there to watch TV on, and YouTube is actually the second biggest platform that 18 to 34-year-olds will be utilizing to watch on their TV. In fact, it's second only to one other platform, and I'm sure you may have guessed it here. I'll just give you a moment again to think about it. What do you think is the number one platform for watching video on TV screens for 18 to 34-year-olds? And I'm sure you might have guessed it. The answer is Netflix. So it's Netflix, which is number one, which I think is pretty understandable there. But the number two platform for watching video on TV screens is YouTube. So I think that's absolutely huge. I can see, and pardon me, is it Timoteus and Sadia both getting correctly in the chat there with Netflix. So absolutely. And of course, one other stat here to give you then, in terms of the consumption on a TV screen. So, YouTube does compete with television advertising, because now we know so many people do watch video on their TV. When we are placing our ads, we can place ads in front of people on the TV devices as well. And in terms of the amount of content that's consumed on a TV device, we actually do see 250 million hours of YouTube viewed per day on a TV screen. So again, huge numbers, almost unimaginable there. 250 million hours of YouTube is viewed per day on TV screens. So again, showing you the reach, the volume, how large this platform is, and how big the size of the prize is, how many people we have the potential to engage on this platform. I'm seeing a question here asking about preparing a YouTube commercial and being quite curious about the guidelines. I'm going to ask you to hold your horses there, because as we go through today's course, we will be getting to parts where we're talking about the ad formats and the creatives. And I think as we go through all of that, we're going to learn an awful lot more, and some of those questions might be answered. And I promise you, if I don't answer your question, I will, please do ask me at the end again for anything more specific you'd like to know about general guidelines about YouTube advertising. But I promise you, we're going to get there as we go through today's course. So let's move on to our next section then. And our next section is going to be looking here at the benefits of YouTube advertising. Now, of course, I'm sure we're already starting to think that There's all these different possibilities with this platform. We've seen how big it is, how many people we can potentially reach, how many people are actively using it, across which devices. And of course, there are strong benefits to being able to access all of this. And one of the best things is I think YouTube is a very easy and quite simple platform to start advertising on. We can run YouTube ads through Google Ads, the platform where we would normally probably associate with creating our search ads. So I'm sure some of you may be familiar with Google Ads from a search platform, allowing you to put visual ads on the Google search engine results page. So you can have your visual text ads appearing hopefully above organic results when users search for your brand or a service or a product that matches what it is that you provide. Through the very same platform, we can create many other different campaign types. So that would be a search campaign. We can also do things like display campaigns, shopping campaigns, and of course our video campaigns that allow us to put our ads on YouTube. So the very first benefit I would always say is that it is so simple and quite easy to use. And we're really going to see this later on as we go through the ad creation process. We're going to see how absolutely simple it is to get ourselves onto the platform. If we have a video, and just for FYI, your video needs to be uploaded to YouTube. But once you have that, you just take that URL, you can choose your targeting, plug it in, and you're ready to start running a campaign. It can be quite simple. We're going to show you how easy it can be. Looking more specifically now at 3 different benefits we do get from the platform, we can break it down as so. It gives you a good reach, meaning that you can obviously reach a lot of people. We've spoken already about how you have the power to reach 2 billion monthly logged in users within the YouTube platform. The majority of these users will be seeing ads as they're watching their videos. So therefore, we have the ability to communicate with a huge number of people across the whole world. There's a huge opportunity with the reach there. We're also going to look at the targeting, and this is something that we've mentioned earlier as well, talking about how we can really target and speak to many different users, but of course, we want to make sure that we are speaking to the right users. And this is what targeting is going to look at. We really want to make sure that we're not just shouting out to everybody who's possibly on YouTube, because everybody who's possibly on YouTube is not our target audience. We'd of course want to target people first and foremost, at least probably by their location. What countries are they in? Because you probably only do business in certain jurisdictions, certain countries, or you only want to give a certain message to people in certain locations. Beyond that, of course, you want to find people who are interested or potentially interested in your products or in your services. So therefore, targeting becomes one of the most important parts of our Google Ads YouTube advertising, because we really want to make sure that we are finding the right people and getting our ads across only to them and not so much to people that we know may never be interested. And then finally, we do need to talk about the ad formats. So once we know who we can reach and we know how to reach them, then we need to know what is it we can re-show to them. And that's when we're going to go through the ad formats to really break down how we can communicate with each of these different types of users. And I'm sure some of these things will be familiar, and maybe some of them will be less familiar to you. We're going to go through each of the options that are available through creating a Google Ads video campaign. So let's start then with reach, shall we? So, I mean, as previously mentioned, really, we've already talked about having 2 billion logged in monthly users and 500 hours of video uploaded every single minute to the YouTube platform. So there's a huge opportunity with the reach offered through advertising on YouTube. Now, in addition to advertising on YouTube and showing your ads in that platform, I'm sure where a lot of you have seen ads before in the past. Your ads can also appear beyond YouTube and across what is known as Google Video Partners. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Google Video Partners, what these are are high quality publisher websites and mobile apps that essentially partner with Google to allow you to show your video ads on their websites, in front of videos on those sites, as well as within the YouTube platform. Just helping you to expand where you reach, where your ads can show. And to really give you a better idea about these Google video partners, because I understand this might be a new concept to some of you, I want to show you a quick video from Google, just explaining what are the Google video partners and how they can be used for your Google Ads video campaigns to really get your ads out there to increase your visibility across more users.
With Google Video Partners, you can show your video ads to viewers beyond YouTube. Google Video Partners are high-quality publisher websites and mobile apps. Video partners include publishers in games, sports, entertainment, and news, and more. Video ads on Google Video Partners can appear on different types of devices, including mobile web and apps, tablets, computers, and TV screens. Ads can be delivered within a video player or as an interstitial when shown on mobile apps. You'll be able to see exactly where your ads are running in Google Ads reporting. Google Video Partners support most Google Ads campaign goals and most video ad formats. When you choose to run ads on Google Video Partners, we enforce a strict set of policies for Google Video Partners. We use a blend of ongoing and automated reviews to enforce the policies, and we provide you with brand safety controls. Here's how Google Video Partners can benefit your campaigns. Google has conducted more than 1,000 brand lift studies for YouTube and Google Video Partners. We've found that video ads that run on Google Video Partners drive similar lift as video ads on YouTube. Google Video Partners also expand your reach beyond YouTube. By including Google Video Partners and YouTube in your campaign, you can gain up to 20% additional reach for a given budget. Video ads on Google Video Partners have highly viewable inventory, with 90% viewability on average. Here's an example of how Google Video Partners benefited a campaign from Grammarly, the company behind the AI-powered writing assistant. They used TrueView for Action on Google Video Partners to reach new users who are actively researching specific product categories. By opting into Google Video Partners, Grammarly drove 20% more installs at an 8% lower CPA. Not sure if your video campaign is using Google Video Partners? Don't worry, it's included by default for most video campaigns. You can also check your campaign settings. Select Video Campaigns in the navigation panel. Next, select the campaign, then click Settings in the page menu. Finally, select Networks. If you see Video Partners on the display networks not selected, click the checkbox to add the campaign to Google Video Partners.
So that's the Google Video Partners. So as we mentioned, when we talk about the reach, yes, you have the ability to reach people all the way across YouTube when they're watching whatever manner of video as they are on the YouTube website, but you also do have a big opportunity to reach up to 20% more users across the Google Video Partners, and really just helping to expand and get your message out there to even more users. So there is a huge opportunity to reach a huge number of people. But of course, as we mentioned, because we can reach such a large number of people, doesn't always mean we should be reaching absolutely everybody. And that is why it's very important for us to consider our targeting. So essentially, the targeting features available in Google Ads for YouTube allow you to target either a very broad, if you really wanted to or needed to, or a very specific audience, making it really suitable for all advertisers and a variety of different advertising goals. So therefore, if you're trying to, for example, just get your message out there to everybody in a certain location, you can target everybody in that location and get your message out there. But if it was a really niche kind of area that you work in, and your brand is very focused on a very small number of people, you can actually target just those people, and there'll probably be a targeting method available for you to really contact and connect with just that very specific audience, or of course a wider one if that was your goal. Now, the targeting features that you'll find on YouTube, I think they are particularly suited for startups. And one of the reasons for this is because you don't actually need any first-party data to be able to take advantage of it. Now, by first-party data, what I mean is data that you have collected on your own customers, like email addresses and their interests and everything else. You don't actually need any of that data to have been collected yourself. Because we are using Google Ads, we have access to all of Google's targeting features. They allow you to target users based on their demographics, their audience groups, and the content that they are viewing as well. These are all options that are available to every single advertiser. So if you have done it's too early in your process to have a long list of thousands of customers that you can just reach out to and hope they keep buying with you, then we can actually use Google's information, because everybody with a Google account has information that they have shared with Google, and we as advertisers can use that information to find and target the right people. And later on today, we'll be looking at precisely how we can use some of this information to really get a picture of the right users that we would like to target there. Just seeing a question in the chat there from Sadia, who is asking, for the UK market, can you target by retailers? Now, no is my initial answer to this question, but I'd be very interested to understand what is it you're trying to get here, because I'm not sure how targeting a retailer would be something you want to do. And thank you for just clarifying here. So you said, for example, if you had a campaign to target Tesco consumers, could you do this? Specifically, no. You couldn't specifically just identify Tesco consumers just like that. But if you hold on, when we go through the targeting methods, I'm going to show you a method, and I think we're going to look at custom audiences. So just remember custom audiences. I'm going to show you how we could potentially find a way, essentially, to target users who would have visited the Tesco website and things like that. So keep that in mind, and we'll do that when we go through each of the different targeting features, and I hope that will give you your answer in just a moment. So of course, the other thing we have to talk about are the ad formats that we are able to set up and show to our users. Now, of course, when we think about YouTube advertising, I think about the one format I immediately think of is the skippable ad format that we all know and love. Or as a user, maybe not so much love. And that's because that's the format where I'm sure we're very used to it. You click a video to watch, and before you can even watch that video, up pops an ad that gives you 5 seconds to skip. And after 5 seconds, if you're not interested, you can hit that skip button and continue watching the video that you intended to watch in the first place. Now, we have various other different formats that can be used, things like video discovery ads that we see in the search or as recommendations. And there are just multiple other ad types that can be set up through Google Ads to target your users based on the targeting features that we kind of touched on just before that. Now, when you are utilizing your ad formats, as I mentioned earlier, what you need to have in the very first instance is a video that is uploaded to YouTube. Regardless of which ad format you're trying to use, you do need a video uploaded to YouTube. Now, those of you who have maybe utilized YouTube before by owning a channel and uploading videos, you may understand that videos can be uploaded in one of 3 formats. A video can be private, which means only you can access it and view it. and no one else can see that video who's not logged into your YouTube account. They can be unlisted, which means that only people who have been given the link to this video can view the video. It is not able to be searched publicly. And then the final one is public, which means that anybody with the link can see it, as well as people can search for it and find it on your channel as well. Now, in order to be used as an ad, your video does need to be uploaded to YouTube, but it must be in either the public or the unlisted format to be used as an ad. So private videos cannot be used as ads, but if you did want to keep it private and not be able to be searched, then we recommend uploading it as unlisted. So if your video is up there as unlisted or as a public video, we can take that video and we can create a Google ad right from there. So Sadia is just asking me to repeat, and it's not 4 types, Sadia, it's just the 3. You can have a video that is private, meaning that only you as the uploader, the channel owner, can view the video. It can be unlisted, which means that anybody who has the link to the video can view the video. And the final one is public. So you can put it public, meaning that anybody can browse your channel and find the video, anybody can search for it, and anybody with the link is able to view it. Now, as I mentioned, you have to have your video uploaded as either unlisted or public before it can be used as a YouTube ad. And that's what must happen in the very first instance. And then once we do that, we can go through a setup process that is quite simple to upload it, to take your uploaded video and create an ad from it and have it running across YouTube and beyond on the Google Video Partner Network as well. So let's have a look then at the ad formats and also some of the most important settings that we find within YouTube ads, within Google Ads video campaigns. So first of all, starting with the ad formats, let's start off with the one that we all know very well, definitely as users of YouTube. And we're going to start off today with the skippable in-stream ads. So this is probably the format, as I mentioned earlier, that people think about immediately when you think of YouTube advertising. Now, from an advertiser perspective, this is the video where your ad will appear. Usually before is probably where we're most used to seeing it, but they can now appear in between or even after a video that a user watches on YouTube or across the video partner network there. Now, when you display an ad in the skippable in-stream ad format here, it's a great format from an advertiser perspective for you to use because you as an advertiser will only pay for the users who engage with the ad by either choosing to watch it or by clicking to visit your website. The users who click to skip your ad, actually, as an advertiser, you do not pay for them to skip that ad. We are only paying here for the view. This is what we call a CPV or a cost per view mechanism. As an advertiser, you're only charged if a user chooses to watch a video. And actually, this video view has to be at least 30 seconds in length. Or if your video is shorter than 30 seconds, they have to watch the entire video. So if I've uploaded a video that is 30 seconds or longer, I am not charged for any user who hits skip before the 30-second mark. I'm only charged if a user watches beyond this. Now, every single user must watch at least 5 seconds of the video before they even have the opportunity to skip. And I'm sure you've seen that button there on the right that says skip ad. Normally is a countdown from 5 down to 1 before the user can skip the ad. So therefore, every user has to spend those 5 seconds with you, consuming your content before they can even hit skip. And for those who are interested, they may continue to watch a bit further. Now, if your ad is 30 seconds or longer, and even if a user watches 29 seconds of that video and then skips, as an advertiser, you're not charged for that user. because they viewed only 29 seconds, you only get charged at the 30-second mark and beyond that. Or, as I mentioned, if they decide to click on your ad to go to your website, which of course is a valuable interaction and engagement for you as a brand as well. Once again, I think it's very, very good for startups because you are only paying for the users who either engaged by clicking or chose to watch at least 30 seconds or longer of your video there. Again, the cost per view that we said you pay, it is very, very affordable. And very often I will see this less than, and I'm based in the UK, so 10 pence per click, sometimes even less than 5 pence. So be the equivalent of 10 cents in Europe. So as I saw, somebody was from Madrid there. It is very, very cheap for one single view. So therefore, it's very interesting for us to utilize this as an ad format because we only ever pay for the users who are, of course, going to be interacting or viewing the entire message that we'd like to deliver as an ad. Now, beyond this format, the skippable in-stream format, there's another format that maybe we've also seen on YouTube. I've got a feeling that if we have seen this format, we possibly don't like this format as much as a consumer. And that's because the format I'm going to talk about next is what we call the non-skippable in-stream ads. So I'm sure you're all familiar with this ad format. And as an advertiser, they are great. As a user, maybe you don't like them so much because you don't even get the option to skip past the ad and continue watching the video that maybe you selected originally because you have to watch this ad in its entirety. As an advertiser, they are great because the user must watch the entire thing. So if you want to provide a message in its entirety, this is the ad format that's going to allow you to do so. So users don't have the chance to skip. But of course, Google aren't completely unreasonable. These are limited to 15 seconds or shorter. So therefore, a user has to watch it for a maximum of 15 seconds, then they can go to watch the video they intended to watch. So it is not so long a time. So therefore, and we've all had these before, you might see the ad and go, oh, I can't skip it. But once 15 seconds rolls by, it's over and you can continue watching the video that you intended to watch in the first place. Now, these ads are charged and you pay for them on a slightly different basis because it's not a cost per view basis because essentially every single user views this ad. So therefore, Google charge for what we call the impression here. An impression is every single time your ad loads up and is displayed to a user, because that user will then have to watch the entire ad following this. So we call it paying by impressions, we call it a CPM basis. So you're charged on the CPM. As a CPV stood for cost per view. CPM actually stands for cost per mil. And the word mil, M-I-L, is like the Latin word for 1,000. So it's cost per 1,000 impressions. And that's what we pay for there, the impressions for the ads to be loaded up and shown to each user. So there'll be, we select how much we are willing to pay, and then Google will try and get us 1,000 impressions for that price there. It's just like the previous one. When we look at the skippable in-stream ads, we select what we are willing to pay per view. So I can say no more than 10 pence, no more than 10 cents per view, and Google will go out there. And it's like an auction because other people will choose different prices and target different users. Because there's so many users out there, we're able to put our ads in front of users who will obviously either then choose to watch it if it's the skippable version, or they'll have to watch it if it's the non-skippable in-stream version there. And users will have to interact with the video in that way. So those are two of our ad formats. And then we'll move on to another ad format that, again, I'm sure you are also familiar with as a user. And this ad format is what we call the video discovery ads. Now, video discovery ads do appear in two different ways. So you've either seen them in the search results, as you can see on the screen there, when you are looking for a video. So when you're looking for a video, you may see it as a search result, usually at the top there as an ad, and it has some text associated with it there, a headline, maybe a couple of lines of description. Again, regardless if you're on a mobile device or on a desktop device, you can see it in this format as well. Another way you may see video discovery ads is actually as a recommended video directly next to a video that you are already watching. So if you're watching a video, you may see on the top right in that recommendations tab, you could see a video from an advertiser that's been recommended for you because you've been targeted in that way by that advertiser. With these videos, a user has to actually opt in to watching this video because they choose to watch it by clicking the ad thumbnail. And therefore, when they click it, it just opens that video within YouTube, and now the user can view the entirety of this video. Again, you can be charged on a cost per view basis, a CPV basis, where you can again select your maximum cost per view, and Google will get you views to this maximum cost per view limit, so making sure you never pay more than what you are willing to pay per view for a view of your video. It is actually also possible for you to pay on a CPM basis. So to pay per 1,000 impressions, you can set your budget there again and set your CPM bid, and therefore Google will get you 1,000 impressions, meaning that they will show it to users. And of course, the users then can choose to click on it. And there's no additional cost if you've paid just to show it to users in that way. Now, these are great ads for when you'd like users to opt into your viewing. And especially they are suitable for longer form or more in-depth videos, because you wouldn't usually expect a user to watch those type of videos in full before a video that they intended to view. The video that we have on the screen here, it's actually a Google Ads tutorial video. It's 4 minutes and 58 seconds long. I'm sure a lot of you will imagine that if you were sent a link to a song from one of your friends and you clicked to watch a song and you got an ad that was 4 minutes and 58 seconds long, it's probably very unlikely that you're going to decide to forget about the music that your friend has sent you and you're going to watch the full 4 minutes and 58 seconds of this ad. In fact, it could have been the perfect ad for you. You could have been the perfect customer. You could be really interested in a Google Ads tutorial, which by the fact that most of you, that you're all here, I'm guessing that most of you might be. But of course, it's just not the right time for you. So therefore, you would not want to actually watch the entirety of that video. You might think this is really interesting, but I want to check out the music that my friend has sent me, and you'd press the skip button. With a video discovery ad, however, you now have the choice to engage with that video. I can see right there that this is a video of 4 minutes and 58 seconds in length. And actually, I can decide to click on that to watch it. And when I've clicked on it, I'm much more likely to be engaged, to be attentive, and probably to watch the full video because I have chosen to click that video. So this is where normally we start to see some of the differences. With our non-skippable ads, I can only put a maximum of 15 seconds anyway. With my skippable ads, I can use any length, but knowing that this plays before, during, after a video, it's probably less likely that the user is going to watch a longer form video. Typically, we'd reserve these for about videos that are up to 30 seconds in length. And for video discovery ads, your longer, more detailed, more informative videos can be used because the users that opt to watch this are much more likely to be engaged and attentive and to consume the majority of this video content in this format. This format also comes with headlines and descriptions. So as mentioned before, you can choose a headline to write and some descriptive text that allows the user to make a more informed decision because they can start to see what this video is going to be about, and they can choose to click on that video to go directly to your video to view it. Right, so you've got another format, and actually this format is going to be the shortest in terms of the length of the video. We've talked about how we can upload, 4-minute videos. We've recommended 30 seconds for the skippable in-stream ads, and we've seen how you're limited with non-skippable to 15 seconds. But there's actually an ad type that is limited even more so, and this ad is limited to just 6 seconds in length. And this ad type is called a bumper ad. Now, bumper ads are great when you want to show a short message to a user, if you want to make an announcement or give users a quick reminder of your brand. Users are unable to skip these ads, and in fact, they are just 6 seconds or less in length. They can't skip them, but of course, they're over in just a few seconds. And these are charged here, again, because every user must watch them on a CPM basis. We're charged there for the impressions, charged there for showing these ads to users. And I can choose how much I'm willing to pay to have this ad shown to 1,000 users and then set my budget there. So like I said, they're great for short, memorable messaging. And if you guys can make it out in that screenshot there, here's 6 seconds showing me some Krispy Kreme donuts, and that's enough to get my appetite going. And every time I see that, I want some Krispy Kreme donuts. So this is just another format. It's great for quick messaging, a reminder to get your brand in front of users, and especially to really kind of reiterate something that they may already know about your brand. We can definitely utilize this ad format there. They're also great when you just want to remind someone that maybe there's an event coming up, or there's a date coming up, or there's a sale that's coming up. Really good to just remind people so that you remain top of mind and you can build on information that they may already know about your brand. Of course, if you need a bit more of a description or to be a bit more informative, we have other ad formats that give you longer with the customer in order to provide them with a more detailed message there. And then we'll move on to the final ad format that I want to share with you guys. And this ad format is, I've just seen Timoteus is saying that you like the bumper ad. And I also like the bumper ad. It can be good for a good, quick message, not so intrusive, just nice and light, and just giving a nice reminder to what it is that you have for this user. So the final ad type that I'd like to share with you guys are the outstream ads. And outstream ads are great for expanding your reach way beyond YouTube, but this is limited and it's specific to mobile devices only. So they are used in what we call mobile web placements, and this is when users are browsing different websites on their mobile. They'll be able to see an outstream ad, and an outstream ad will appear as a banner, as an interstitial, which is when you are on a mobile app and you get a full screen takeover with an ad. They can be in feeds, they can be native, they can be in portrait mode, in landscape mode, in full screen mode. And essentially, users get to see your video with maybe your logo, with a bit of text. So again, you can add descriptions and headlines, and essentially your video will be auto-playing for the user. So it captures their attention as they're scrolling through their mobile web. And essentially they can tap that video to unmute it, to start hearing what the video has to say. It's a great way just to engage users here when you want to find the right users outside of YouTube and you want to put these videos in front of them within the websites that they'll normally be browsing. The movement in the video obviously will capture their attention, and if they're interested enough when they read the descriptions and the headlines, they can tap the video to unmute it so they can also hear what the video is saying. Now, Google here for this ad format charge on what we call a VCPM. And we know CPM, cost per mil, cost per 1,000 impressions. The V here stands for viewable. So what this means is that Google will not charge if, first of all, your ad loads on a page, but nobody ever scrolls down to see that ad on the page. That's not really fair, so Google do not charge for things that users do not see. In fact, they don't even charge when a user is just scrolling through a page. Maybe sometimes you want to get to the very bottom of the page to find a link. If you scroll straight past it and your ad's there and it disappears within, half a second, you do not get charged for that. In fact, you only get charged when your ad is what Google defines as viewable. And Google defines your ad as being viewable when someone sees your video play for 2 seconds or longer. Then it will count towards your 1,000 impressions that you are bidding for there. So therefore, that's what we call outstream ads that we charge for on a viewable CPM basis there. And those are the main ad formats that are available for you to create yourself within Google Ads. So the next thing for us to do is to take a look at targeting and start exploring the targeting options that are available. But before we do that, we've been going for about an hour or so. I just want to take a 5-minute break. So I just want to give everybody 5 minutes, maybe to get a glass of water or a cup of coffee, or just use the bathroom, and then we will come back in 5 minutes time. So I make the time just about 3 minutes past the hour. It's 3 minutes past 3 for me in the UK. So I'm just going to say 5 minutes from now. So at 8 minutes past the hour, if we can all come back, and we'll be ready to get on with the next section. So I'm going to see you all in 5 minutes, and we'll get started again on targeting. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in 5. Okay, hi there, guys. Welcome back. And I hope you had a good little break and are refreshed and ready for us to get back into our targeting features here. So hopefully we've got a bit of a good understanding now about some of the background to YouTube, some of the opportunities with the reach of the platform and how we can target people both on the platform on YouTube and also within the Google video partners as well. And also now we've had a look at some of the different ad formats that are available for you. But let's now start talking about our targeting features, because of course we need to make sure we target our users in the right ways to really make sure that our campaign activity is impactful. Otherwise we completely miss out on finding the right users, and you could even potentially waste some budget in this way as well. So remembering the targeting features largely that we're going to talk about here are targeting features that are available to everybody. You do not need to have any first-party data, unless, of course, if I mention that you will. But everything here is utilizing Google data. And if we all have access to Google data, we can all access Google data simply by utilizing and setting up a Google Ads video campaign. So one of the first targeting features that you'll be faced with is what we call demographics. And demographics are quite simply one of the easiest ways that we can define an audience. We can say that an audience is, somebody is male, or if they are female, what their age is, what their parental status is, and also what their household income is. Now, this information is actually based on either your logged in user information, and I'm sure the majority of you here all have a Google account. So once you are logged into Google across anything, a lot of you will be logged in via YouTube right now, then any information that, anything you do whilst logged in, the websites you visit, the searches that you conduct, etc., you've probably given Google permission to identify that information. And with that information, they are able to define some of your demographics. Also, a lot of you, when you signed up, would have ticked a box that said whether you were male or female, and you'd also put in your date of birth, so Google also knows your age. With this information, as a user, we're able to target people that are the right genders, the right age, the right parental status, and household income, depending on what products or services that we supply. Now, just an FYI, household income is not available as a targeting feature in the UK. It's only in some locations, with the US probably being the most prominent. Anything that Google cannot determine will be categorized as unknown. So there may be users who are whose gender is unknown because they did not give this to Google, or they do not have an account, and Google does not have enough information to estimate whether they believe they are male or female. In this case, we always do say to target the unknown category, because it would always contain a large amount of the users that you will want to target. And what we normally do is that we get rid of anything that we do not want to target. So if I have a product that is specifically aimed at females, I would untick the male box and continue targeting both the female and the unknown category there. Next up then, after we do our demographics, we have what we call audience targeting features. Audience targeting features are essentially, once again, put together ways in which Google can group users based on information they have gathered from them whilst they are signed in, and their activity across search, across YouTube, and the sort of websites they're visiting. Google can usually get a very accurate picture of who you are and what type of audience you fit into. One of the first things you can look at are what they call their more detailed demographics. And you can here identify you as a user based on the following groups to then allow advertisers to broadly target them. So you can look at parental status, but not only that, we can dive a bit deeper, because of course we know that you can be a parent, but you can have a child who is 6 months, you can have a child who is 6 years, and you can also have a child who's 60. So not all parents are the same, and you wouldn't want to target each of these with the same types of products. So therefore, you can have the ages of the children as well broken down in subcategories. We have the marital status. Are you married? Are you unmarried? Education. What's your highest level of education? High school? Is it university? Do you have a master's, a PhD? And also home ownership status. Are you a homeowner or are you a renter? So therefore, with these demographics, based on what your products or services are, you may want to target broadly to any user who is a homeowner, for example, if you are selling home insurance. And just looking quickly at the chat, I think Timotheus, congratulations are in order, seeing that you have a child who's just 2 days old. So congratulations on that. Next up then, in terms of our audience targeting, we have our affinity audiences. With affinity audiences, here we are grouping together users based on their interests. And here we use Google data, again, that they've gathered from your searches, your browsing habits, activities on search and YouTube, to really group together and understand what each user is interested in. With this affinity audience, it's probably one of the most popular ways of targeting and sometimes one of the most effective. Because Google have so much data on their users, they can really get a good idea of what a user is interested in. Like I said, I go on football websites often. I go to YouTube to watch football highlights. Google have a very good idea that I am interested in football. If I had a brand who was out there selling cheap football tickets and they wanted to target me, I'd be a very good target audience. Whilst I'm watching my videos on YouTube, they can target me with a football ad, and that would really work with me. Now, one thing about audience targeting that I do really need to make clear is that we are targeting the user. So even though I'm a user who's interested in football, and a football brand might want to advertise me cheap football tickets, I don't have to be watching a football video. I could be watching a music video and they could target me with the football ad, because we are targeting the audience, the user and the user's interests, not the place where the user is. There's more on that later. Now, of course, having an interest in something is not necessarily the strongest signal that someone wants to buy something. So Google have another category, and this category is called an in-market audience. In-market audiences group together users based on what they are actively researching or what they are planning. So therefore, it uses that Google data, and we can tell the difference between somebody who's just interested in football matches to somebody who is actively looking for tickets to a football match, for example. So therefore, depending on what your product is, do you want to talk to people who are interested, or do you want to talk to people in the moment when they're trying to buy with a specific video message? So we can choose how we target users based on these things as well. Also, we can add in all of them and test them to see which one performs best as well. More audience options available are things such as custom audiences. Now, of course, we have those affinity audiences we just looked at. We have the opportunity to utilize in-market audiences. Sometimes you might have a very specific product, or you just want a slight different angle on targeting your users. This is where you can actually use custom audiences, where Google allow you to create your own user audience based on interests, purchase intentions, or search terms. You can also type in website, places, and apps that these types of users would use in order to expand this audience. And Google will look within their data to provide you a list of users who are customized based on what you've put in there. This is where, and I would think it was Sadia who was asking earlier, would it be possible for you to target Tesco customers, for example? You could actually create your own custom audience list based on users who have searched for the words Tesco and Tesco shopping and Tesco delivery, and the users who've also gone to websites similar to tesco.com or tesco.co.uk. Therefore, you'd be able to there create yourself a custom audience based on signals that these users are interested in and have interacted with Tesco, and therefore you'll be able to then create ads to target those users. Now, next up, we have life events, and life events are what allow us to target users who one of the following life events are relevant or about to become relevant to. So we have things like business creation, home renovation, job changes, moving, purchasing a home, graduation, marriage, getting a new pet, or going into retirement. If any of these life events have just happened or are about to happen to a person, Google usually will know about it because, again, of your search activity, your web activity. It gives them a good idea. So with that information, as an advertiser, we can target these users and give them our messaging if one of these life events match what we are providing. Of course, we can also do something called video remarketing. So if you link your YouTube account with your Google Ads account, you then have the ability to target users who have interacted with the content of your website, of your video, your YouTube channel in different ways. A few things like you can target people who have viewed a video from your channel or a specific video from your channel. So that way, maybe if somebody has looked at one of your previous products, you can advertise them with your next product, for example. So there are different ways that you can do it. You can also target people who have, subscribed, visited your channel, added a video to your playlist, or shared your videos. And you can target these users because you know that they've interacted with your previous videos or with your channel previously. Now you want to give them some new messaging and advertise towards them to hopefully turn their interest into custom. Next up, we also have what we call remarketing. And remarketing is actually where we put a remarketing tag on your website. And with remarketing, we can actually now show ads to users who have been to your website before. So therefore, I've visited your website, I've looked at your products, now I'm on YouTube, you can actually show me an ad for your products and give me an idea of how your business works and convince me that I should probably go back to your website and actually make a purchase of your products or engage you for your services in the future there. Now, every time you create one of these audience lists, so I can create a list of anyone that's been to a certain section or a certain page of my website, Google will automatically create what is called a similar audience list. And it can bring out users who are similar to the users who have gone to your website. So therefore, if I have a list of users who have purchased my product before, Google can give me a list of users who are similar to people who have purchased my product before. And of course, if they have similar characteristics based on Google's information about all of their habits, I can actually be quite sure that those users will also be interested in my products when they come to my web, when they see them as a YouTube ad. Next up, we can also use custom match. This is one of the few places we actually can utilize first-party data. So this is if you have a list of email addresses that have come directly from a list of email addresses that have come directly from your customers that they've signed up, they've given you their email addresses. If you are compliant, you can take this list of email addresses and upload it anonymously to Google Ads. And what happens is a matching process, and Google will match all of your email addresses to the email addresses of customers who are also have Google accounts. With that, when those users are on YouTube, you can again show them your YouTube ads. So it's just another way of really showing specific ads to users who you already know and have already interacted with you in the past. And then finally, you can also use combined audiences to effectively target users by combining any of the audience features that we've talked about previously. That way you can find a user who is interested in football, but also is in market for a football product. So therefore we can really find the right users to target when we are trying to show our ads to them. Again, remarketing is something that's really good for startups, just because it can help you as a new business to build up some brand awareness by reminding users who have visited your website that you exist. And so that they don't actually go to your website one time and forget about you, but actually they go, oh, actually, I remember I was on that website. This looks like a good site. Maybe I should revisit. Maybe I should consider purchasing from them in the future. Next up then, we also have what we call content targeting. And content targeting is something that we very much want to understand about where our ads are showing. Now, first of all, we are able to use what we call content exclusions. And content exclusions basically allow us to select an inventory type to show our ads to. Basically, what Google has done, they've created 3 different types of inventory. There's expanded, standard, and limited inventory types. And we have the ability to choose where we want our ads shown. Now, we can show our ads on expanded, which means pretty much all of the ad types that are, so pretty much all of the videos that are available for advertising, we are eligible to show our ads on if our users land on them. For standard, we'll get rid of some things. Maybe if there's a lot of profanity, a lot of violence or sexual content, we won't be able to show our ads on them. More kind of family-friendly type of content. And then there's limited, which gets rid of anything that even has any real swearing, any real violence, any suggestion of sex. So it's kind of really PG content, really clean content that you can advertise on. So you choose what level that you're happy for your ads to appear in front of. We have topic targeting, which says that I want my ads to appear on videos that are of a specific topic. So I only want my ads to appear on football-related videos. Of course, this doesn't always mean that the person viewing the video will be interested in football, but it means that your ad will only appear on a football-related video. For keywords, you can choose keywords to describe the type of videos you want your ads to appear on. And for placements, you can very specifically pick where you want your ads to appear. I want my ad to appear on this video. I want my ad to appear on the Taylor Swift YouTube channel, for example. You can be very specific about those placements. Sadia is asking for a repeat of content exclusions. Content exclusions, as I mentioned, you select one of the 3 inventory types. So basically, Google have analyzed their content on YouTube and say that they can either give you the limited, standard, or expanded inventory. Expanded inventory is mostly everything that's uploaded to YouTube that is able to be served as an ad. You're eligible to put your ads in front of those videos or on those videos. If you go for the standard inventory, they will remove certain content from the standard inventory, including things that have excessive violence in them, excessive kind of profanity, swearing, and anything that's excessively like sexual or sexually suggestive content. With the limited inventory, it's even cleaner. So they get rid of most of anything with swearing in it, anything to do with sex or violence, and therefore you're only eligible to show on kind of more PG content there. With placements, yes, Timotheus, you can target a single channel. However, though, we do warn people when you want to choose that. The reason we warn you is because the channel may not be the most important thing. You're trying to go for the user. So the audience is probably the most important factor there. Every time you increase your increase one of the targetings to match the content targeting. So basically, if I have audience targeting and I add in some placements, a specific YouTube channel, it now means that the user must be of a certain demographic, of a certain audience interest, and where I can only show my ad if they are on that channel. If it's not that important for them to be on that channel, we have to say it's probably better to leave that off and target people based on their interest. But of course, if it is worthwhile for you, and maybe you don't use as many of the other restrictions in terms of the audience, you can absolutely target a whole channel or a specific video. So your question, you can show your ads on your competition videos. Yes, you can. You can pick any video that's eligible on YouTube and you'll be able to show your ad specifically on that video. But of course, like I said, if it's eligible, if you can find it when you search, that's going to be an eligible video there. And then finally, we just have a few additional settings to run through. And these are things like devices. Remember, your ads can appear on computers, mobile phones, tablets, and TV screens. You can opt in or out of all of them. By default, you will be targeting all of them, but of course you can opt out of the devices you do not wish to target. For advanced targeting features, you can also look at, for mobile phones and tablets, you can specifically choose between operating systems, device models, and networks that you would like to target. Let's say, for example, if you're promoting a mobile application and it was not available on Android, therefore you'd maybe exclude Android operating systems and only target iOS devices. And then finally, frequency capping can be used to limit how often you show your ads to a user. So therefore you can say, I don't want to show my ad more often than 5 times to a user in one day. And therefore you can reach more unique users that way. In terms of budget, Sadia, really, budget, we will touch on it as we go through the next section, which is setting up your first campaign. But ultimately, it's such a huge platform that you can spend whatever you kind of like. There's so much inventory, so much opportunity to get your ads in front of users. So therefore, it really depends on what your budget is and how much you have available and how much you want to get out there. Like I said, you can get views as cheap as 5 pence a view, maybe even less. So you just got to think, how many views do you want and how does it work for you? Are you trying to drive conversions? Are you trying to just drive awareness? And you need to figure out that level of conversions, that level of awareness that you'd like to drive, because you can definitely set up whatever you like there. So let's look at setting up your first campaign. And there's just a few steps. You firstly choose your campaign type when you're setting up, and you can create, you choose a campaign type you'd like to create, you choose a bidding strategy, targeted locations, and your other campaign settings. We select our targeting to make sure that you're reaching the right users in the right ways. So targeting features or different combinations, making sure that the users you want to find actually get to see your ads on YouTube. And then, of course, you choose the video that you want to upload. And then there's a few other settings for the for the format, and then you're ready to go. So to wrap this up, we're going to go through a campaign setup walkthrough, and I'm going to set up and show you guys precisely how you can create your own campaign. I've just seen Sadia is asking there, is £20 a month a budget that will be worthwhile enough for an awareness campaign? And for £20 a month, Sadia, I'm going to say that would probably be quite a small budget. And the reason I'm saying that's a small budget is because in Google Ads, as we're just about to see, you actually show your budget on a daily basis is how you set up. You set up a daily budget. So for £20 a month, that's going to be £20 divided by 30 days, which means you're going to have less than £1 a day. Now, of course, if you're getting views for, let's even say if it was, 5 pence, you can only afford for 20 people at £1 to see your video each day. So therefore, that would be quite a small budget. £20 a day, however, may be something that would be more viable to actually get you a good amount of views there. But of course, that's still on the smaller side. There are companies that spend hundreds of thousands of pounds, of course. But as a startup, I think even £20 a day would be, £20 a month would be quite limited. So in just a moment, I'm going to share my screen again. And once you can see my screen, we're going to go through the step-by-step process of allowing us to set up campaigns within Google Ads. Just give me one moment. I'm just going to get my screen shared with you guys again. Just give me 1 second. Sorry guys, I'm just having a bit of trouble sharing my screen again. I'm sure you can all just see my face, which is probably not what you wanted for your Tuesday. Here we go. Here we go. You can see my screen again now, hopefully. So what we're going to do now is show you right here inside Google Ads how we step by step go through creating ourselves a ad from an ad on a YouTube ad. So first and foremost, we will click on when we're on the campaigns screen within Google Ads, we can click on the big blue plus, and this takes us to the new campaign screen where we have the option to create ourselves a new campaign. So once this loads, what Google normally begin by asking us is select an objective that will make, okay, this is awkward. I've just got to re-sign in again. Just give me 1 second here. So I'll approve that. Okay, and we are back in. All right, small technical issues, but I promise you will be good from here. So we're back to our campaigns tab within Google Ads, and we click the big blue plus to create a new campaign. Once this loads, Google asks us, select the goal that will make this campaign successful to you. And with that, you can look at creating a campaign without a goals guidance. Or you can select one of the other options that are available. Many of these, depending on what you are trying to do, will give you an option to create a video campaign. Of course, that's what we're trying to do today. When we click on a campaign without a goals guidance, it just gives us all of the options that are available. And I just like to show you all the options, all the different campaign types that can be created within Google Ads. We, of course, are going to go for a video campaign. Now here, we can see various different video campaign types. The first we have is a custom video, non-skippable in-stream, out-stream, and other types of ads. We have drive conversions, which is an automated campaign where you create your ads, but it automates between skippable in-stream and non-skippable in-stream to help you to drive as many conversions as possible automatically. Ad sequence allows you, when you've linked your Google Ads account to a YouTube account, allows you to show different ads, but in a sequence, making sure every user sees the first ad before they see the second ad, before they see the third ad. And shopping is great if you have physical products and you have a Google Shopping, a Google Merchant Center account. You can link that to your Google Ads and actually put products to appear on top of your YouTube ads as well. We're going to continue with the custom video campaign because this is the place where you'll be able to create skippable in-stream ads, bumper ads, and also video discovery ads based on the settings you start with. And we'll hit continue here. From here, we get to give our campaign a name, and I'm just going to call this campaign the Disney video campaign. And then here we choose our bidding strategy. So the bidding strategy here is either cost per view, or as we see, CPM, cost per mil, cost per 1,000 impressions. Now, of course, this depends on what type of ad we want to create later. I want to create a skippable ad. So there I will click cost per view. Sadia is asking, can we create a shopping ad for holiday tours? No, it must be a physical product to use Google Shopping and the Google Merchant Center. It's only about physical products. Here we set in our campaign budget. So we can put in our total budget for the campaign, and we must set our start and end dates. So if, for example, I put in here £200 and said I wanted this to run from today until the end of the month, it would break it down for me here, as I mentioned, over those days and say that's a £200 total. That's similar to an £11.76 daily budget for an account that was going to run for 17 days. Even with the rest of the time left in the month, remember, if I put it at £20 for the rest of the month, that's going to be £1.18, which just isn't going to, you can set it up. It's just not going to get you a lot of traffic and probably not going to have a strong impact for you there. So that's just something to consider. I saw Rubina recommending perhaps a £5 daily budget. And I'd say that's a limit that you could definitely start with. Of course, recognizing that you're going to be driving obviously a lower amount of traffic on a daily basis. But of course, it could be worthwhile testing for your testing phase. On the right-hand side, what you can see is a campaign estimate section. And based on our current targeting, it's telling us how many impressions are available on a weekly basis. You want to keep this a few million at least to make sure that you have a potential to really show your ads to many different users. Because obviously the smaller it gets and the more competitive it gets and the more expensive it will get for you. But of course, you do want to make sure that you are targeting the right users. So if it's just 20 billion plus, which it is at the moment, it probably means I'm targeting far too many people. So first we can see where we're targeting, and we're targeting across YouTube search results, YouTube videos, and the video partners on the display network. By default, everything here is ticked, meaning that I can target every single one of these user groups. Next here, I have to choose my locations. Where are my users? Who do I want to target? So I'm just going to get rid of my locations for now, and I'm going to reset this and say, I want to target users where you guys are based. So I know that I and a few of you are based in the United Kingdom. So I'd like to target that location. And also, I believe someone else was in Spain. So with Google Ads, we can target users based on their countries, their cities, their towns, anything, we can be very, very specific about where these users are. So therefore, postcodes and zip code areas even, we can be that specific. Now, what we see here is that we've gone from 20 billion impressions to just 7 billion plus impressions. I say just, that's absolutely more than enough. And that's just because we took out the United States and we've only got the United Kingdom and Spain. So the weekly impressions do reduce there. In terms of languages, we've got English set up because of course that's a language my customers speak. That's the languages my videos will be in as well. Next option we have here are the content exclusions to help me define where my ads can show. And here, as I discussed earlier, we have the 3 different content types here. Do I want the limited inventory, the standard inventory, or the expanded inventory? Just reflecting the type of content my ad will be eligible to appear on. Now, the recommendation generally for most brands will be the standard inventory is fine. But of course, if even moderate profanity or moderately sexually suggestive content is not something that is aligned with your brand, you have the ability to select the limited inventory in order to show your users, so ads to your users only on this type of content. We also have the ability to use content exclusions. By default, we will get rid of content that has not yet been labeled by Google, so Google do not know the type of content that is on there. But we can exclude content, for example, that they have labeled for being for mature audiences. We can also get rid of live streaming or embedded videos if this is not the type of placement we would like to appear in. Beyond this, that's our campaign settings. We have to create an ad group. So why don't we create an ad group for something like Disney, try that again, Disney holidays ad. So here I've got a Disney holidays campaign that I'm trying to create here. So this is where I can start selecting how I'd like to target these users. Here I have my audiences, and you can see like audience demographics first and foremost, pardon me. My demographics I get to define by their genders, their age, their parental status, and I cannot do the household income because I'm only targeting the United Kingdom and Spain, of which household income is not a targeting feature I can target here. So let's say because this is for the holidays, I want to target users who I think maybe are parents of young children. So therefore, parents can be either gender, the age, I want to make sure it's younger children, so maybe I'm going to get rid of some of the older demographics. And for parental status, I want them to make sure that they are parents. Every single time I make a change here, you'll see the available impressions reorganize itself and change slightly there. It is just an estimation, but it gives you a good idea of the number of potential users who can see your ad. I'm next going to go into audiences and start selecting audiences that maybe match the type of users I'm trying to target here. Let's have a look at detailed demographics, for example. And I'm going to look at parental status, people who are parents of, and can we see we've got the age ranges in there of 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 11. I think that's about a good age there for me to target. Anyone who's a parent of children of that sort of age, I want to target them with my Disney holidays ad. I'm not that fussed about their marital status or their education or anything else like that. That's the important parts for me to target there. And here we have all of the other things that we've been talking about today. Affinities, in-market and life events, remarketing and similar audiences, and I can use combined audiences and custom audiences as well. Utilizing these bits here, this is where I can start to build out. Every single time I add a different interest here, it gives me more users to target because I'm targeting people who are interested in these things. So for example, if I like people who are shopaholics, that's going to add to my impressions here as I target more users because these users are shopaholics. From here, this is where I can add keywords to say only content based on certain keywords, only content that is based on certain topics or certain placements. I saw we were asking earlier about YouTube channels. I believe that was Timotheus. You were asking about the YouTube channels. I don't know if you want to let me know what's your YouTube channel and I can show you how we could maybe target a single YouTube channel. I'm just in the meantime just going to type in something like Taylor Swift just quickly. So here I can see here's the Taylor Swift Vivo YouTube channel. And when I click here, this allows me to now, my ads can only appear on this channel. My impressions potentially go down from 1.1 billion all the way down to 400 million because now these users have to be parents and shopaholics and they have to be on the Taylor Swift YouTube channel. So it does severely reduce your reach. Let's type in Ava Zubeck there as well. And here we go. And if I click on here, then actually my impressions will go from 1.1 billion. Again, takes it down to 400 million. Remembering this is just an estimation. I do believe you'd probably get fewer than that in a week. And it's just, you have to be very careful with this. Like I said, sometimes you're targeting the audience is more important than the placement. For a bid, I'm going to put in here just a 10p bid for now. And then I get to create my ad by selecting the YouTube video. You can search in this box here. I just happen to have taken the URL from earlier. And I found a 3-minute video that I'm saying I want to run it as a skippable in-stream ad here. Again, not what we'd normally recommend because I wouldn't expect somebody to watch a 3-minute video. But by clicking here, what I now get to do is to give my ad a final URL. I'm just going to call this disney.com. That will generate me a display URL, which will then display on my video. I can create a call to action as well. That can just say shop now, for example. Let's say something like this. So therefore, we get this Shop Now button for users to click on. And ultimately, that's about all we need to do. This ad is now set up and ready to go. And therefore, we are able and eligible to run this ad. Just to show you quickly here, I want to show you what this would potentially look like. So let's have a look at Ava Zubeck again. And if I select this TED Talk video here, I can actually preview now how this ad would actually look when it runs on YouTube. So in just a moment, have a look at this. If I click on Ava Zubeck video, this could be the ad that runs in front of it, the Disney one we just created. There's the call to action that appears. There's the opportunity to skip the ad. Until I watch 30 seconds, I'm not going to be charged. And if I do hit skip ad, then off it goes. And here's the TED Talk video that I initially intended to watch. One great thing about this is that if you look at the top right of the page, even after the ad has run, what still remains is the call to action and a banner image from the YouTube channel as well. At any moment, if I click this button, I will go to the Disney website and I'll be able to purchase and shop the products that I've seen there. I've seen Rubina's asking, do we have to give the ads URL or can you upload ads to the campaign? You must have your ad on YouTube. That is a must. That's a primary requirement for having YouTube advertising. You cannot do it without having a YouTube video uploaded as either public or unlisted onto YouTube. Rubina's asking if the ad is just 30 seconds, then how will it be charged? That would then be if someone watches the entire ad. That's when you will be charged. Martha's got a question there as well, asking regarding the audience targeting, how can we find out a similar audience to Tesco, for example, so I can target a similar audience? In that case, I would probably go for the custom audience option here, and I would create a custom audience. I would call this my Tesco audience. And essentially what we would like to do here is you're either going to find users who have searched for terms on Google that are either Tesco related terms or similar to Tesco related terms. So you can put in any of Tesco's competitor brands in there for users who are searching on those type of terms. Or you could go with people with the type of purchase intentions or interest. So you can put interest in grocery shopping or supermarkets or anything else. Or you could expand it by actually pushing in websites. So Google can find users who browse websites that are similar to, and then you can put in Tesco.com. So that would be how I'd look for users who are similar to the Tesco audience there. So I hope that helps Martha. Once we've done all that, we are ready to create our campaign. And just like that, our campaign will be ready. And once our campaign ad is approved in a very short time, we're ready to run and we'll start to see our metrics flooding in here and be able to start showing our ads to users as they browse YouTube or the Google Video Partner Network. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything that I've got for you today. And I've now left just about 8 or so minutes at the end for you guys to ask any potential questions that you may have. So please feel free to use the comment section to continue asking any questions. And I'll be here to ask any questions that you might have. You guys were definitely asking questions as we went along, so maybe I've answered your main questions, but if you do have any others, please do let me know. and then we will, I'll be able to answer you any questions that you have. Sadia, I think you're asking for an agency recommendation. Unfortunately, I don't have agencies to recommend. Unfortunately, that's not something I can provide right now. And Rubina is asking, is there any quality specification for video ads? So ultimately, you know, the videos that can run, it would follow kind of all of YouTube's sort of guidance in terms of that. So when you are uploading your videos to YouTube, any video that can be on YouTube can be used as an ad. So of course, you'd have to follow the YouTube guidelines, which I think would be quite easy for you to source and to find. And Timotheus is asking, is there a video ad creation tutorial guidelines? And in terms of the video ad creation, I mean, there are many things that you'd be able to find online. The sort of guidance that we give is just to make sure, of course, that you use your first 5 seconds effectively, because that's the time that you have to grab the user's attention. Because if you don't get their attention in those 5 seconds, they're highly likely to skip. This is not like TV where people have to watch the whole thing. It has to be kind of impactful. It has to capture their attention in those first 5 seconds. So that is crucial. You want to get something interesting in there, and you want to at least get your brand's name and logo in those first 5 seconds to make sure people are aware where this ad is coming from. Apart from that, be engaging, play with the format. Don't make it just like your TV ads if you're thinking of TV advertising, because they do not work in the same way. It's a brand new format. And yeah, I'm sure you could find some really good examples of good YouTube ads and try to kind of see what they do. Think of the ads that have made you stop and watch them and not just skip. And think about why those made you stop. How did they grab your attention? And how are you specific to understanding what they were selling in that very short time there? Martha is asking here, the ads have a duration time to program them from December to January. What is the best time to post them? So are you asking about when is the best time to set up your campaigns in order to get them running? If that's the question, you can absolutely set them up whenever you like. Of course, you probably want to set them up ahead of time, because that will give you time to get them approved and live precisely when you're ready to start. But actually, it doesn't take so long to get them approved, because the videos are already uploaded to YouTube and they've already been approved by YouTube. The ads process actually is a lot shorter in order to approve the ads and get them running. So therefore, I would say as soon as you know about a campaign, set it up, get it ready, get the dates in there. Then you don't have to think about it. And the day it's ready, then your ads are ready to start showing to your users for that duration of time. So, yeah. Got a few more minutes for 1 or 2 more questions if you have them. If there aren't going to be any further questions, however, then I'd just like to take this time to really thank you all for attending the session. And just to let you know that popping up in your inboxes very soon will be an email for some feedback. And what would be very, very helpful is if you could actually fill in that feedback. It's really helpful for us to understand how you guys felt about today's course and the content. And hopefully, I hope you all learned something in this session so far today. And as was mentioned, we've got just one more session left for this year, which is happening tomorrow. So if you want to find out what it is, and if you want to sign up, I'll actually be running it myself as well. So if you'd like to see me again, then head over to campus.co/startup school. And yeah, you can hopefully get yourself back in for tomorrow's session. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone for joining. And yeah, I look forward to maybe seeing some of you tomorrow on our Google Display Network course. And for the rest of you, happy holidays and Happy New Year. So thank you very much.